when the seagulls follow the shore, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
And as we say now in my country, they brought the bus and they left the bus in front of the goal.
And the guy's talking absolute nonsense. Never heard so much rubbish in my life.
Normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
I'm telling you, don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes!
Get it up, yeah.
Beautiful Sunday, Terry. I mean, they always worry, don't we? We always worry. They worry, we worry, everyone worries before these games. But the reality is, the Gap trophy, they still can't win. The treble of trophies we can win is still very much on. Terry Robb, welcome to P.M.P.
Yes, thank you, Bhoycie. You're looking more and more like Lenny every day.
What do you mean more like fucking Lenny? What do you mean?
The bleach.
What do you mean?
The bleach going on.
Oh, is it looking lighter today? I haven't tried it.
It looks a wee bit lighter. It's maybe just with the hoops on.
I think it's the roots growing in, mate, that's giving it that vibe now.
It's looking well.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. I mean, you fucking, what a way to set us off, you know what I mean? I compliment you. You fucking make me paranoid about my hair. Honestly, this team works. No wonder it's only me and you, Terry, on a Sunday. I can't get anyone else to join us. Fuck me. Right, okay. Celtic 1, Rangers 0. We will do all that good stuff before we get cracking because we did the Sunday Blair in the build-up to this game. 370 at one point watching live, Terry. You've got a you've got a lot to live up to because I thought it was you that was the common denominator of these numbers. But then I'm going on with David and I'm like, I'm coming back like it's fucking me. No, I'm only joking. That is a joke. If you're listening on audio, that is a complete joke. But definitely, Terry, today we are hoping for all that good stuff to occur because that means we are going to get people to like it, subscribe to it, share it, slag my hair with it. Who cares? And if you want to become a Bhoycie Bus member, Terry, like our newest, best, Pam sent me a big email the other day. She really had me greeting, Terry. I was trying over it. Aye. Stubbsy's Horse, Stoned Outlaw. Who else is Craig A. Stoned Outlaw again. Alex Forsyth, Charles Smith, Alan Woods, Glasgow CSC. Members everywhere. It's totally optional. Do not worry. We don't demand it. All the content will be free. Terry, it was a free experience watching Celtic today. They are a side with a plan, and I think the team we're playing do not have one.
Bhoycie, you forgot one thing: the pies. Give the prizes.
Pi
Give the
Sports,
prizes,
yes, absolutely. Pi Sports, Bus 1888, 12.5% off. The game's done now, so unless you like a post-match pie, fair enough. But aye, piesports.com. Terry, they are the nuts, to be fair. Anyway, let's go.
Absolutely. That match today, Bhoycie, absolutely over the moon with the result. Probably a lot more nervy affair than I was expecting. I usually am sort of not negative going into these games, but I'm cautiously optimistic. But I felt we would win easier than we did today. So bit of a strange game. Completely delighted to get the result. Do I think we were the better side? If I'm being totally honest, probably not. I think first half we just edged it. Second half we weren't brilliant, but we got the job done. We did what this team has constantly did. They find a way to win when things aren't going just the way the plain sailing sort of approach that we normally expect to see from the guys. And I think we kind of just played the same way as we have done in the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I know that we spoke last week, the week before, and we felt when this game came around that, you know, the whole build-up with the week ahead of the game, the manager would be motivating the players. And I expected to see a bit more, honestly, than what we got from the players. And I know it was last chance saloon for Rangers, and they had to give it everything. But I felt second half we really struggled in some areas. I think if I'm looking at the game and picking the best players, I'm going to go right straight in there with Starfelt. I thought Starfelt was immense. I thought Carter Vickers.
Oh, yes, Terry, because you knew. I'll
Yeah.
tell you why you're saying that. Not because it's not accurate, but you also knew I was coming for you with both barrels over Starfelt. You knew I'd be chasing you for that one.
Call it as I say it. There was no mistakes that I seen. He does what he does very well. He defends when the ball's coming into the box from all areas. Carter Vickers was immense beside him as well. And for anybody that didn't pick up on the manager's post-match, that's Carter Vickers done for the season. He said that's it. He's out to pasture. So
that's okay.
It doesn't sound as if he'll play any of the rest of the games, including the cup final. I thought Joe Hart, another one that I've been critical of, I thought he had a decent game today. Came up trumps in the big moments with good saves. And we found a way to get it done. And so many times, Bhoycie, over the course of the season, we've talked about Jota being the match winner, Kyogo being the match winner, Matt O'Reilly, somebody doing something up front in a creative kind of sense. But I thought the match winners today was that basis at the back, that goalkeeper and 2 centre-backs. They were the guys that won that match for us today.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Terry. Martin O'Neill was, as a pundit, standing there admiring the resilience of the team. You were doing a couple of quotes there a minute ago. You will not have missed that one. And I think with O'Neill, he looked at those centre-halves and identified with them. The reason that O'Neill team that we always talk about and the reason the Claxon goes is because we accepted you're going to be under the caution games. There is an entitlement at times that we should be, for 90 minutes, playing Ange ball at all times. It's not how football matches work. You're going to have periods of time in football games where you are up against it, shall we say. Stafford, Carter Vickers. I can see now why Postecoglou wants those two in the Champions League. I'm not saying this was a Champions League level game, but I just think he thinks those two, they know how to get the rough and tumble done, which sometimes goes amiss, but actually is a massive part in how Celtic in the past have achieved things in Europe. And I mean modern history I'm talking about. You had to have guys that could do what CCV and Starfelt showed today. Big shout out to Craigie. He donated 20 on the Sunday Blether. Thanks so much for the tenner from our Proxide, mate. And Kim Best, our latest member, £5 super sticker. Thanks so much. That's really kind. And don't worry about all that stuff. Terry, it was one of those games where I just feel big game players show up on the big occasion. I've kind of been calling it the past week. Jota's my favourite boy at the club. He's the best player at the club, in my opinion. I think he's held to a higher standard that is fair. I think when Jota plays a 7, it's described as a 6. I think when other guys play a 7, they're described as an 8. Jota today, yet again, the man for the big moment. And yet again, another display Jota's done in the first half, predominantly playing out of position to accommodate someone else. He switches into the position he prefers. And actually, ironically, Maeda is the one who does the cross. But it's Jota in there again, Tavernier and that. I think they just look at these guys. They don't know how to defend fullbacks. Their fullbacks don't know how to defend, I should say. And the runs we can do at back post against Rangers is something the greatest manager in Europe, I don't mean Ange, Mickey Beale, doesn't know how to work out. It is a puzzle that Barisic and Tavernier will still be playing when they're 100 years old, older than the football club. And I just feel right now that if you want a big game player, yes, Kyogo to an extent, but Jota for me has proven this season, yet again, 2 goals in the Champions League. We only scored 3. He scored 2 of them. Last season, he was scoring the goals against Rangers. He was scoring goals in the Europa League against like Leverkusen and stuff. Betis, sorry. This year, again, big occasion, 1 goal difference, and it's the big man Jota. It's time we start realising this guy is the fucking dog's bollocks. He, for me, is head and shoulders our best player. And I don't mean it head and shoulders because the rest are all crap. I think you look at him and identify someone, I go, held to a higher standard. But do you know why? Because you're the best player in Scotland. Jota.
I was thinking about your held to higher standard sort of line just at half time. I was thinking even if we do hold him if I hold him to higher standard, he's still at an excellent first half. I thought he was superb in the first half. I think the fact that he came off probably tells us that he wasn't 100% ready to play a full game, because there's no way you would have taken him off on the form that he was on, especially with Barisic on a yellow card. I was actually cursing him a little bit about 4 minutes before the goal, because if you remember the cross from Maeda on the left, picking out Jota at the other far post, and his touch let him down. That's probably the first time his touch has let him down since he signed for Celtic.
But Maeda's done that, by the way, before that moment, Maeda's done that 4 times, I think, in that first half. And you're just not holding them at the same standard.
And you're just
everyone, in fact, are saying Maeda's man of the match.
What you expect Jota just to either hit that first time or take it down, slot it into the corner. And I thought it was sort of very fitting then that when they'd done the swap, it's Maeda again digging out an absolutely superb cross from the right hand side, and Jota ghosting in, and Tavernier doing his best Barisic impression. I thought the goal kind of probably epitomises just the difference that there is in the two teams. There's Celtic, the quick thinking, they always wanting to get the ball back into play again quick. So McGregor gets the free kick, he plays it quick. Then you've O'Reilly, who started the game quite well and then sort of phased out of it a bit, but nice nimble feet. He was fouled in my book. I felt that was a foul. And even the Rangers players, I think the reason they stopped is because they felt it was a foul as well. But you can see there's 3 of them all sort of looking to see what's going to happen here. But Maeda doesn't wait. He's the quickest to it. And what a cross. I mean, Jota just couldn't miss. What a cross from Maeda. And I get why some people would look at Maeda's performance and go, he's man of the match. And then somebody else might look at a bit more of a purist and go, look how many times he miscontrolled the ball. Look how many times it bobbled off.
Was his cross a hit and hope?
It was very good.
Because the technique is unreal. But when you look at the rest of his output, when he's in a position like to dictate outcomes, Terry, I look at it, I go, fuck me, like where's the technique? But that cross, if you don't know it's Dyson Maeda and you just see a clip of that goal, that's all you see for the game, you'd say, what a winger that is they've got in their hands.
Oh, Southampton.
What a winger.
20 million now.
But we've got options up going forward. And see, at the end of the day, whether people agree, whether they don't agree, I think that was the first choice front 3 for Postecoglou that started today.
That's Ange's front 3, yeah. And
this is what the difference is with these guys. And I'm going to contrast and compare because we played them today. We played our rivals today, Terry. We played against virtue signallers. Virtue signallers. They were up against numbers. Guys who have the stats, will have the trophies, and will have the numbers to justify everything they do. See if you watch Lundstrom's, that fucking challenge after 2 minutes. Try to break Kyogo's.
What do you think of that, Bhoycie? What do you think of that challenge?
Well, we'll get into it. We're going to get into it. I'm just trying to sum it up, and then we'll go straight into go one by one. So Lundstrom doing those sort of challenges. Cantwell, and it's not even 40 minutes in, he's asked to get subbed off, or he's kidding on, he's not asked to get subbed off, but he wanted subbed off, no two ways. He's already twice had to G up the fans. You watch someone like Raskan, or Raskin, as he was called 3 weeks ago. He's now Rascan. Makes him sound better, apparently. You look at guys like Ryan Kent hooked at half time. Morelos trying to do the press. They're virtue signalling bastards. Morelos, for example, kids on, he's doing the press, but he just jogs a wee bit quicker than I can run. Do you know what I mean? For half a yard, and then he gives up. It's virtue signalling. Todd Cantwell to the crowd. It's virtue signalling. Lundstrom plays meaningless passes, Terry, right? So it looks a wee 30 yard wee swerver. It's doing nothing. It's not affecting outcomes. It's doing nothing. And he'll then do the chest puffed out swagger after it. These guys are virtue signallers, Terry. We've got guys like Maeda who doesn't care about the joy. He doesn't care about the appreciation. He works his bollocks off for Celtic. Kyogo loves the appreciation, but doesn't do it to virtue signal. We've got guys in our team. Some might like the virtue signalling. Some, like Jota, will go to the Brazen Head just to know his history. Because he wants to know his history, Terry. We've got guys in this team, I believe, fundamentally focused first and foremost on affecting outcomes on the park, what they're paid to do. They've got guys who try to curry favour first and foremost, and then hope that might mask over the lacking of what they actually end up doing on the grassy bit.
Bhoycie, the stats back up what you're saying, and thanks to Chris Sutton for pulling this one out. This is a startling stat. Is Morelos and Kent are the two go-to guys for Rangers and have been for the last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. They've been the two big game players. They're the two that they put up there as the match winners. They've scored a total of 6 goals against Celtic from when they've joined Rangers. 6 goals between them. Jota and Kyogo have scored 8 this season. So the stats back up what you're saying. We've got players who do it in the big matches. They've got players that they see as being big game players, but they don't actually do it in the big games.
Yeah, I don't know what Peter McGlone's on about. Let's not talk about players leaving. Not today, please. I think, Peter, you're the only one talking about that, mate. Unless the chat's lively, all that stuff, I don't know. But certainly not on the bus are we talking about players leaving. No, I think there's a...
I'm sure we'll touch on it, but I didn't want to let it go. How did you feel when you seen Hatate's name in the team sheet? Because
excited me.
I was excited. I was going, yes, that's the one we all sort of felt Jota was going to play. Hatate was touch and go. When I seen that name, I was so reassured. But when I seen his performance, I was so unassured. And I think he clearly wasn't ready. He clearly wasn't ready to play. I mean, I was thinking, even 15, 20 minutes in, you could see that it wasn't the right call. And I was thinking, can you make a change after 20 minutes? Can you just say, look, I've got this completely wrong? But he just struggled to get into the game in any sort of way at all. And I think the midfield as a whole kind of struggled a wee bit today. And the bit that I'm particularly thinking about is when
I don't know. I thought first half Matt O'Reilly was...
I thought
first half he was up there with the best player in the back, if not the best.
The bit that I'm talking about, and I mentioned that this could happen last week, is when the back four had possession, it kind of went from Taylor to Starfelt to Carter Vickers to Johnson, then back across. And the bit that we struggled was getting that short pass into the midfield for the midfield to then turn and try and find the wide man or the front man. And I think that's because that was probably a tactic that Rangers had where they were closing down McGregor. He was the pivot. He was getting closed down. He wasn't getting any space. Then they were trying to close down the other guys. And I think it did end up in his trying to sort of go a wee bit more Carter Vickers playing the passes and Starfelt playing the passes. And then when you're missing out the midfield a little bit, you probably don't get the same quality in terms of ball forward. I did think O'Reilly...
Terry, though, styles make fights, though, mate. What we seen today was, at times, Celtic knew how to play a different style. And that fucked them. That fucked them today. See, if you actually look at, there was different aspects of the game today. See, by the time Greg Taylor moved into the inverted position, for example, it was noted by the commentary team. Greg Taylor's moved... Now, normally Greg Taylor would always be, well, most of the time anyway, an inverted fullback. You're noticing a shift. I think styles make fights, and in my opinion, I think Celtic know Rangers' game plan is to stop what we do. So we change what we do. Well, look at that vodka. Look at that.
Well, listen,
that looks like
Bhoycie,
That's
we're
the-
not.
I actually. can I
Listen,
just
we're
say
not.
about
We're
the
not pouring
vodka?
singles, and we're not pouring doubles. We are pouring trebles.
And it was treble distilled by me this morning. That is official Bhoycie Bus vodka. If
Let's
anyone wants a
go back
bottle,
to let's go back to
phone Terry,
Hattati.
not me.
Let's go back to Hattati. Do you think that's one that possibly the manager got wrong in hindsight?
I don't know, because what I would say is for him starting, no, is when the subs happen. There's a conversation to be had about that. I think the conversation is about the subs. How Hattati isn't subbed as quickly as O'Reilly.
Hattati come on for O'Reilly. Oh, you mean in general? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like
general, aye.
O'Reilly for me. If you're looking at O'Reilly's display, I would contrast and compare that with Hattati's, and I would say O'Reilly's affecting outcomes right now. He is having a brilliant game. Yeah, I thought they were a bit eager to take him off. Whereas I agree with you in the first half. I think the observation you would make would be Hattati, not sure he's at the races. I get why he's been given an opportunity to play. I totally understand that, and I'm not here to be critical today, by the way, either.
Oh no,
Because I think
how can you?
we're in a situation where Ange's now adapted, and people don't like. People used to go mental at me, like mental when I was on the other fellas, the wee fellas pod. If I said Ange will need to adapt, and I honestly didn't understand like why people were so upset by it. I was saying teams have to adapt because Scottish football is its own wee prism, its own wee mad world, and sometimes you will need to make changes that don't necessarily fit the footballing Pep Guardiola City Group textbook. And I feel like now Ange has got a total handle on that. I see when we now look unfashionable and we're seeing out games, you're going to get folk now going, "Wasn't great today, were we?" I don't know. Like I think it is a sign of greatness when you can do the stuff, and it's funnily enough that Mr. O'Neill picks up in the same vibes.
Do you know what I was thinking the last 10 minutes? Do you remember we talked about the Motherwell game last week, and Motherwell were going through all sorts of shithousery, taking ages at goal kicks, players lying down. I was begging for us to do the same in the last 10 minutes today, I have to say. I was just thinking, just do whatever you have to do to get over the line. And we probably didn't resort to the same level, but we were. The players were cleverly doing it. You've seen the referee going over and having a word with Greg Taylor at one point, and he basically said, "Look, you've got to get the ball back into play quicker, or I'm going to be adding it on," kind of thing. And I think that's probably where the 5 minutes came from, because there weren't that many stoppages. Because,
but you know what, Terry? It's weird because I don't remember anyone saying to either of the managers that you need to get the ball boys to speed up. Strange observation. Just did you not hear about that? Barry Robson.
Well, the ball boys today, though. The ball boys today wouldn't have been employed by either club, would they?
Yeah, but either way, I don't think referees are meant to. I don't think it's in their gift, Terry. No matter what referee it is, by the way, or fourth official, even though they brought out their best starting lineup by the end, before the game kicked off, they managed to get their best starting lineup. Sorry, but it's funny that I don't remember anyone telling anyone to slow down the ball boys or speed them up at any point. But yes, that only happened only a week ago in our country's game, which is very interesting.
How does John Beaton get involved in a final that he wasn't even registered to be involved in?
You were just there, mate. You were just there warming up.
It just happened to be there. Do you remember one day?
How does a calf strain, Terry, mean you cannot be a fourth official?
But there was a game one day at Celtic Park, was there not, where something happened and a fourth official just happened to be at a game as a supporter. I think it might have been at a Celtic game. I don't know what. If it wasn't at a Celtic game, I don't know why I would remember it. But somebody was just plucked from the crowd who happened to be an official or something. Anyway, that was quite funny though. That was quite funny. Willie Collum's supposed to.
They got the best lineup on both sides of the fence. They got their best team in the park, and they got their best team off the park as well. Let's be honest.
Aye. And then you've the smoke delay, so the watching supporters probably didn't see anything for the first 4 minutes. And Rangers actually had a chance in 20 seconds, and you couldn't see anything at all. You were just kind of going by the commentator. I think that came from the Celtic end, or were both fans letting off fireworks pre-match, or?
I mean,
there's definitely a lot of green smoke among it.
So they obviously got a whiff. It was going to go as bad, like worse, even in the League Cup final, because there was a message we were told by David Logue today that there was apparently a message sent to the fans saying don't bring pyro. It's like, you need to remember it's not actually legal for a start, let alone bringing it to the game. And I thought that was based on what we'd seen in the League Cup final, where at one point Alan McGregor's goal in the second half was descended in the clouds that we've seen. But both teams seem to think, or both teams' fans, I should say, I think the Rangers fans thought, nullify it, don't back down, double down. So before you knew it, you just could not see a thing, right? And it was just smoke everywhere. I also think there's a wee bit of it that goes, if you want to attribute this fixture, Terry, to being the best in the world, which I find fanciful at times, when I think, like, I watch, like, you know, the Boca and River Plate, like, clips and stuff, and you go, fucking, do you know what I mean? I don't think it's as bad as that, or as hyper as that.
I thought the atmosphere was good today, Bhoycie. Just
me too. No, me too.
Half and half. I thought you could. You know, it was almost like you'll sing a song, we'll sing it louder, we'll go louder again, we'll go louder again. Definitely makes for a hell of a spectacle.
It definitely does. I wonder if it motivates players as well. And at times, as you say, today wasn't always about the forward-looking players. We need to just go straight in and talk about, as you said, Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers. I thought they were wonderful today. And the reason I do is because these guys want to get their job done. Lundstrom, for example, and maybe it is his job to get it done, is to go out and have players. He doesn't read the game. He doesn't read the game. These two guys read the game. He doesn't read the game. He's an opportunist. He goes to leave a marker down. The other two guys, whether Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers are physical or not, is because they're reading the game in a certain way. They're reading it, and then if there's a bit left on, I don't even think all the time it's deliberate. It's because they need to be physical to win that challenge. Lundstrom is the biggest example you can get of a virtue signalling bastard, Terry, he does not read the game perfectly. He sees an opportunity to leave one on a player. So he makes a standard tackle or a standard reading of the game look like something that has to become dirty. It doesn't. He doesn't need to be as physical as he has. It's virtue signalling for the fucking hordes in the crowd. And that, to me, is the difference between quality players, Swedish internationals, USA internationals, and ex-Sheffield United.
Bhoycie, see Lundstrom's tackle. I've tried to talk about it about 3 times. We're going to talk about it. And the reason we're going to talk about it is because I seen a tackle last week in the Hibs game that was no real different to that tackle that I've seen today. And it was a red card. Now, I don't think Lundstrom's tackle, I don't even think it was a foul in football as when I was younger and used to play it and things like that. If you won the ball, anything else that came after it was a bonus. That was the way football was, but it's not like that anymore. And that same tackle last week was punished with a red card. And I think he gets away with it because it's only 2 minutes in. But that challenge had to be looked at. And at one stage today, I had to get on the internet to see if VAR was actually being used, because VAR, there was nothing come up on the screen at any stage to say there was any VAR check, even on the goal, on any of the contentious moments. VAR wasn't mentioned once. It came up on the camera. You could see when Alistair Johnson was going off, you could see the little VAR screen on the side of the tunnel. But that challenge should have at least been looked at because of the ferocity of it. And he got the ball, and in my book,
scissors, mate. It's scissors at the end.
But it's no different. It's no different to a tackle I seen last week, which ended up in a red. But going in with a challenge like that 2 minutes in, that's clearly been a game plan. Let's go in, let's get the markers down, let's show these guys that we're not to be messed with today. We're going to boss this.
Does it not ring hope though? Eh? Well, like in 2023, the call of arms by Kevin Thompson this week. Me and David spoke about it on the Blether today. It is all about going back to have them, staunch. The blood, the thunder, Terry. It's all about that with him. And I felt today, you get away with that after 2 minutes, you create a rod for your own back, referee. Right? And
the problem with the referee is he lets that go, right? And then later in the game, he books Dyson Maida for
absolute fuck all.
for nothing. And I think when
But that
players
was always going to happen as well.
when players
That
see
was
that
always
tackle,
going to happen.
when players
That
see
was-
that tackle and that tackle doesn't get punished, you then think that's the threshold. We can do that and not get punished because that's already happened in the game. And you start to, I think that's quite natural for players to do that. I just think that the referee had an opportunity there to sort of take total control of the game and say, look, there's going to be no nonsense here, and he didn't do it.
I feel like, I think you're absolutely right. I think Beale wants to be heralded as a mastermind. He wants to do the whole, like, I'm like Postecoglou. I'm like, I've got a vision. I've got a philosophy. I've got a master plan. He loves coming over as that. But we can all see through it. And I it's not because he's a Rangers manager. It's because it's in my focus I can see this. Right? Because he is Rangers manager. But not because he's the Rangers manager I'm making these observations, Terry. I know I'm the way I sound cocky, but I know how people tick. I know how they do it. I know how they operate, right? I look at his mind and I go, you are virtue signalling. You're another one. You're guilty of it. And that's how your players do the same thing. You're full of pish. You're trying to act. He talks like he's been a veteran of football management for years and years. He talks about there's a project here. There is a plan on how we're going to overcome the objective, the objectives that Celtic put in our way. And it's going to be through my tactics and all the work that we do on the training ground. I guarantee you he is back to, I don't know, 1912. And he is looking at the two clubs the same way Rangers. It's steeped in their history, Terry. Get the foot in. Lay a marker. Let your man know you're there. All this bollocks. And it's so far removed from how he talks in public. That's what I don't get. And when I watch it, I look at it and I go, you don't have the players to do that. Lundstrom likes the idea of it, but he's not got the actual backup to be that guy because he doesn't influence, I keep saying this, influence outcomes once he's got the ball. But he's good at doing the laying the marker stuff.
Well, see, I know it's by the by, but your man Lundstrom, I expected more from him. See, when he played in the English Premiership with Sheffield United, who were struggling, he scored a lot of goals from midfield. He wasn't that type of player sitting as you
one season wonder.
I expected more. I thought when they got him, I thought he could have stayed in England, to be honest. But he's kind of become that player, that character. He's the midfield hard man, and as you say, he isn't able to back it up. And another one that can't back it up is fucking Barisic, who's a hard man when he's got a microphone in front of him, but when he's faced with anything on the pitch, he backs away like a baby,
Baby. I think, Terry, what we did was we, again, in that first half, by the time Jota scored his goal, we said it after the League Cup final, they're fucked. They're knackered. They're mentally exhausted. They're tired with, where's he running now? Where's he going now? Now, Maeda, for all his output that might not seem incredible, it's the fact he gets himself in these positions all the time. He's constantly making you think. He's constantly making you turn your own back to the play and you're facing your own goal. This is what these boys are brilliant at. There was times where Jota was getting the ball and you're looking at him doing, I don't know if you noticed this, Terry, under no pressure. Even after, in fact, I'll give you a great example. So remember he misses the first touch thing? And you're right to pull that up. Do you know he gets the ball after it? And he does about 4 step overs, drive backs and all that before he passes the ball. And we're not ucked at all by mistakes we make. We're afforded to be allowed to make mistakes.
That's a mindset.
As long as we can do it. You can see it. You go, no way does one of their players have an opportunity, like Jota does there, lets the ball slip under his boot, and then be like 2 seconds later doing drag backs, step overs. And it's not because it's Jota and I love him. It is a wee bit. But it's not just because of that, Terry. It's because I go, that's the mindset. We're brave on the ball. And see off the ball, we're even braver. Nothing that Celtic do is for the crowd. That comes naturally. The crowd will lap up what we do. I watched Cantwell's of the world doing this.
He was out of the whole game.
He wanted hooks, mate. He didn't want to be on the park. I promise you that injury was nothing. He wanted the idea to be put to him. He's coming off, son.
When I see a player doing that, Bhoycie, when I see a player doing that, I think that's a cry for help. As in, we're not able to do it ourselves. Please, somebody do something that kind of helps us.
I've seen us do it against in the Champions League.
I've seen us do it
in the Champions League. Never domestically.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's embarrassing. I think for players to try and the players should be able to generate enough support from the crowd without having to say to them, "Come on, give us a bit more." Especially in a game like that where the crowd's half and half. The one thing I wanted to say to you, Bhoycie, and get your thoughts on it. I felt in the first 25 minutes of the second half, I felt we were under the cosh. Now, see, after Zakala misses the open goal, I think it's okay after that. I don't think there's any real heart attack moments. I think we've seen it out from there okay. But those first 20, 25 minutes of the second half, I felt we were under the cosh. So we come out in the second half and we give away 3 sort of soft free kicks in our final third, which is inviting pressure and balls into your box. Then we made the changes round about the 60, 65 mark. But during that sort of period there, with a succession of goal kicks, when we were under the cosh, and it's that fucking Joe Hart to Carter Vickers inside the 6-yard box to Starfelt, and we lost possession 3 in a row, I counted, where we tried to do that, and we didn't get any further. We didn't get any further than our own 18-yard box, and the ball was out of play. A throw in either for us in our own sort of last quarter, or a throw into Rangers. And I'm thinking, right, I know why the guys are doing it, because that's the tactic. That's what the manager wants. But holy fucking good fuck, you're in a cup match here. You're in a semi-final. You're under the cosh. The balls are flying into your box. Does the goalkeeper, who's played 75, 80 times for England, he's done it before. Why does he not just fucking say, right, do you know what, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, on you go. I'm going to take fucking half a minute. I'm going to set the ball down. I'm going to do my...
I don't know, Terry. I felt he hoofed the ball. I thought...
the shin pad, and I'm going to fucking kick this.
I thought he went longer more today than I've seen him normally do.
But he did, and that's fine. But I'm thinking in that period where we were completely under the cosh, and I know we've won the game, and we don't want to focus on any negatives, but I felt we were under the cosh from the start of the second half until about the 65th minute.
But Terry, I think Hart played the big part in us dealing with that. There was moments where he was punching the ball clear, where normally you go, just come and collect that. I understood why he was doing what he was doing.
Hart played well.
Hart played. Yeah, I think Hart got it today.
What I'm saying is, it's probably a stubbornness from Ange, and the players probably are in this mindset. We do what the manager says. We've done it from he came in. It works. But I just felt I was just praying that for once he would just place the ball, take fucking as long as he needed, do all the wee ticks that goalkeepers normally do, and kick it 80 yards and just try to buy a breather, because I felt the pressure was intense in that period. And we did. We lost it 3 times. It came out. It came out from Carter Vickers to Ralston and ended up with a throw in right down on our byline from our goal kick. Then we got another one soon after, and the same thing happened again. And then there was a third one, and we gave away possession. There was 3 goal kicks in a 5-minute spell, and I'm just going, like, fucking manage the game here. Just I know what you're supposed to do.
I thought he did, though, Terry. I'll be honest. I think that's really magnifying a glass on him. And we've had very honest discussions with Joe Hart.
There's small margins. We won this game by very, very small margins today. We got a goal through quick thinking from Maeda and a wonderful cross and a header from Jota. They hit the post. So we were the width of the post away from going 1 each with them on top.
Well, Sakala scored 2 in the last games, mate. He loves a fucking finish in that side.
I know that, but I know we're sitting here and we've won the game, and I really don't want to fucking pull out negatives in any way, shape, or form. But we were like a paint away from going 1 each with them on top.
Bhoycie Bus vodka is not subscribed to any other shop. Make sure you just drink the normal versions. Fuck is wrong with you, Terry, mate? What? I don't know. I thought
Driver, I'm getting off. Let me off at the next stop.
I thought they asked very few questions of us, Terry. I think you're being very critical. How many shots did Hart have to save today? How many?
I think he made more than most games. And that's why I said I thought he had one of his better games, and I do think he did come and
Slagged him
dominate.
off.
He
He's made
dominated
more
his
than his
box.
most games, but I'm going to slag him off.
He was very positive.
Behave.
Who's slagging him off?
You.
You're
I
arse.
feel you're slagging off him. I think you're
Your whole-
slagging hat off.
Your whole. I just felt an England goalkeeper with 80 caps.
He's not an England goalkeeper anymore.
Was.
We don't
Hold
sign
on
England
a second.
goalkeepers. We don't get Jack Butland, mate.
In 6 weeks, Mickey Bailey will be saying Jack Butland, England goalkeeper. Do you know what? He wants to be Ange, by the way. Let's just not miss that out. He's tried to copy Ange, and now he's going for an ex-England goalkeeper.
Do you not think Joe Hart looked a wee bit like Jack Charlton? No. See when the more that rain was like lashing down, I was like,
I was thinking, boys, no way.
I love you, Joe, but fuck.
You know the way it used to be the shampoo ad. He's going to be hair restoration soon.
It's looking right bushy at the sides, and it's like a fucking proper comb over now. And I'm like,
I think there'll be a hair restoration program.
And like, do you know what? He's not even an ugly guy. Like, he'll do okay. Like Scott Brown needs to have a wee word and just David Logue. Why don't we get Joe Hart to go to Har Barber for a freebie? That would work.
Do you know what I think? Do you know what I think? See underneath that big fringe, I think you might be receding, are you?
Oh, terribly, mate. Terribly. Why drink? Oh, aye. Oh, aye.
Would you ever think of getting one of those wee hair restorations, would you?
Oh, what do you mean think of it, mate? What do you think I do this podcast for? I don't even support Celtic. I did it to I only did it for the money for the fucking hair restoration. No. I'll definitely do that. Right now, I'm just going down the Boris Johnson look for the banter. But aye. But I've never seen anyone like, see when it's raining, he just looked like he was like had bushy hair at the side. He was like just like right, a few strands there. I was like,
Bhoycie, no way am I slagging Joe Hart today. I have questions.
I am. In fact, I was trying to defend Joe Hart, now just ripped the piss at him.
I know you are. You're slagging his appearance. You're going to the one thing that you always tell people not to do is just slag somebody on their appearance. If you can't win an argument, just slag their looks. Now, I honest to God, I've been harsh. I've been harsh on Hart. I've been harsh on Starfelt today, or not today, but today. I thought both of those players were absolutely immense, and that axis at the back, Hart, Carter, Vickers, and Starfelt, they won that match today, absolutely. And Starfelt was faultless. There wasn't one time where I thought he even was close to a mistake, and he usually makes one every single game. He was superb today, absolutely superb. Fucking credit to him.
So, what's the story then, if we want to look at the performance as it is? Are Celtic now in a prism where I think, this is the honest truth, I think we are genuinely managing games better than what we were 12 months ago. Ange alluded to it in his conversation with O'Neill as well. O'Neill obviously was going to focus on the defensive side because I think there's a simplicity to management that still has always existed though, Terry. If you want to be successful, you will win games by not conceding, right? And we've got all the flair players now. We've got the guys there that can make the difference when they need to. Whether it be Jota, who was on the end of that Maeda cross, that could have been Kyogo at other stages. We will find the moments because Celtic are very, very convincing. When we get half an opportunity, we seem to be very direct, Terry, and just go for it, right? There's no pondering, which I love.
Clinical.
Defensively today, clinical's a good one. I think defensively though today, I liked what I seen. I thought they're a bit of a throwback, CCV and Starfelt. And I'm not always against that, Terry, because I can't emphasise enough, we're going to need that balance. You don't win. If you're coming for the Scottish League, you're not going to be able to afford Ruben Diaz's and that in the world, who are brilliant footballers, unbelievable on the ball, but are also great defenders. We're not going to get those guys. Like, I know they've got John Souttar, and he's probably that exact answer to the equation. But other than John Souttar in Scotland, who's the best defender in the world and the best footballer, I think we might need to just go, see if you've got 8 other guys outfield that can do all the tricks, all the trades. And by the way, there was a clearance at one point by Greg Taylor, where he's doing a slide tackle block of Tavernier's cross, but he's curled his foot. He's wrapped it round so he actually cushions it. And I went, this is ridiculous. That's the fancy bit of defending. The ugly bit is essential as well. I liked what I seen today for that partnership yet again.
Aye. Again, I hate being critical. I thought we weren't great at left back. I thought a lot of the opportunities that Rangers did get came that side. I don't think we learned our lessons from the last game in terms of Tavernier, because obviously it's him gets the shot away and hits the post. God knows where he's away. It's Tavernier gets the opportunity and hits the post. But there was also an opportunity shortly after that where Tavernier comes in at the back post and gets a header, much like the last game. Only the difference is this one he headed down a wee bit too much into the ground, and I think it was comfortable enough to get cleared. But I don't think we learned our lessons in terms of watching. He's one of their real attacking dangers on that team, and yet today he got opportunities to hurt us. It was more through chance than anything else that he didn't make anything of those. So probably wasn't overly enamored with Taylor's performance, I have to say, but the two in the middle, perfect. Alistair Johnson, I'd be concerned just about that injury, Bhoycie, because if we take Alistair Johnson as we know him, that guy isn't going to go off in a cup semi-final against your biggest rivals unless he's badly hurt. And he came out on crutches and he was still grimacing towards the end of the game when the camera fixed in on him. He was grimacing very much. Ralston, by the way, come on. And I think one of the things I was a wee bit concerned about was when Juranovic and Ralston were here, the manager was kind of alternating between both. But since Johnston has come in, Ralston's got very, very little game time. And the only thing that was concerning then is that what if you need Ralston someday, as we did today? He's not going to have played, right? I mean, Ralston's minutes has been minimal. I know he was injured at the start whenever Johnson came in, but he's got very, very little opportunity. Yet you get probably our biggest game of the rest of the season, and then you're relying on a guy coming on who's been out in the cold and probably a few shaky minutes at the start. But then after that, I mean, I thought he was absolutely fine.
Well, before we go into that, Terry, we need to say a big shout out to Pam, who watches us from the USA. She's on every show.
I didn't know Pam was in America.
I mean, neither. To the other day, she sent me an email, mate. I don't know if you won't have watched Bustalgia because just me and Phil do Bustalgia right at length, and I had a few drinks on Friday, and I ended up offering a kebab to anyone who wanted a kebab. Fucking first to email me gets a kebab. And I ended up waking up the next day with a fear and I've choked the cold with the flu now. And I had that combined with it. And Pam sent me the most lovely email I've ever read in my life. And all I could surmise to write back was, Pam, you're going to make me cry, with a green love heart. And that was it. Which probably wasn't much feedback on what was the nicest email I've ever read in my life. However, she's dishing out memberships, I'm pretty sure, judging by the chat right now. So a massive thank you to you for doing that.
Bhoycie, I'm out of mixers. Just give me 2 seconds.
You do what you want, mate. But in terms of Alistair Johnston, the one difference will be, and you'll like this, guys, Tillman leaves crying his eyes out.
Like a baby.
Finished. Like a baby. And Alistair Johnson leaves the ground having done the with crutches. I don't know if you've seen the clip yet, Terry, but he's busted. He's hopping on one leg with 2 crutches doing the and I think that's the story of them. Tillman goes off crying. Yes, he doesn't want to go off, apparently. I felt that TikTok Todd wanted off, if I'm honest. And yeah, again, he's another virtue signaller, but he does the passes look great. The Hollywood passes, mate. Same way a goalkeeper saves shots that they don't need to with both legs in the air and doing all that. He plays passes, mate, that look the virtue signaling. I can sniff it a mile away, smell it a mile away. And you get Alistair Johnson, who doesn't cry when he goes off, but is fucking raging he's going off. And that is when he's going, the ankle's gubbed. It is gubbed. I have to accept the truth. He's bailing. Nothing else. Nothing else but that. No. Oh, pull up the jersey a wee bit more so no one can see my tears. He's not Ryan Jack. He's not Tillman. He's Alistair Johnston. he's got the appetite and the attitude. He's ready to be part of phase 2, phase 3, you could say, of Ange's team. And I do believe that is now what we've seen today, and not for the first time in the last second half of the season, a steelier side to Postecoglou's side.
Bhoycie, I know I've been sitting nodding, but I didn't listen to any of that. What are you asking me?
Oh, cheers, mate. No, it's fucking brilliant. I get one guy on.
What are you asking me?
What
are you asking me?
I fucking give up. Honestly. Me and Terry used to think we were good at this together. He just fucking sat listening to me talking shite.
What'd you ask me?
I mean, fuck it. Does any of the viewers want to come on? I could be doing with a viewer coming on. This is embarrassing. I just said, Terry,
right,
that
okay.
the new phase of Angie's team is a wee bit more steel. A wee bit more steel to it. And that might be not just with the signings, but in the manner we're managing out games. I'll see if you say it again. I swear I'm off.
No, I thought, in terms of seeing that game out, like I said to you earlier, I was a bit concerned halftime to 65. But after 65, I was pretty comfortable that we would see it out. And I think Ralston comes on. No concerns about Ralston replacing Johnson. I think they're similar in terms of attributes. I think Johnson probably is just a little bit ahead in terms of class, but similar in terms of attributes. Well, Iwata, I probably want Iwata. I thought we could manage the game better with Iwata playing. I thought whenever you could obviously see that Hatate wasn't match sharp, I felt if you bring Iwata on now, that would have helped us manage the game a wee bit more. Once we brought him on, there was actually a concerning spell where Iwata was down injured after about 60 seconds after coming on. But once he got himself sorted out, I think that helped us manage the game. He was, in a very, very subtle way, he was key to us managing that game out. Iwata in the holding role, McGregor sort of in the 8 role, but not as advanced. And Moy, I'll be honest with you, Bhoycie, we talked about how lackluster Moy has looked when he's came on in previous games. I thought he was up a notch when he came on today. I thought he was sharper. What do you think? Did you not think he was a wee bit more? He was a wee bit more like the Moy that we've grown to love, rather than the Moy that we've grown to hate.
Oh, sorry. What are we talking about, Terry?
I was talking about Aaron Moy.
Fuck off! I was listening. I actually was listening. You bastard.
I thought.
I thought Moy. I did actually think Moy did well.
Yes, he was a wee bit
worried. I was worried when he came on.
He must have had a Red Bull or something. He was a wee bit more alert than he has been.
Yeah, the Red Bull, and he maybe listened to P.M.P this week, and was like, "Fucking, you need that rocket up your arse, you bastard." See, the more I start liking you, the worse you get. You cunt. You need to get back to Aaron Moy levels. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought he did well when he came on. Iwata was the one that surprised me a wee bit. I thought, wow, I don't know. I thought he looked a wee bit off it. And
I think he's a clever player. I think he took a hit, Bhoycie. He took a hit as soon as he came on. He took a hit, and it probably looked touch and go for about 5 or 10 minutes. And at that stage, the manager doesn't want to make another change because that's probably his last that he's allowed to make. And then you're looking possibly Iwata comes off. And the only replacement I could have thought of would have been Turnbull at that stage. And it's probably a change the manager doesn't want to make because he's brought Iwata on to manage the game out. And Iwata is a more defensive-minded player than Turnbull would be. I think he took a rough one as soon as he came on, and they gave him time to get back into it. I thought he was instrumental in managing the game out. Haksabanovic was probably a strange one coming on because you're thinking you're going to bringing off Jota, and I can only think Jota just was never going to play the full match because Jota had a superb game today, and you're bringing Jota off, you're bringing on Haksabanovic. He has. Yeah,
I didn't get it. Like, see, the thing is, right? I'm going to give you a brilliant argument that I formed watching the game, Terry. Right, and we don't want to focus on their strengths and weaknesses. However, that's the opposition we had today. I felt Matondo and what's the one, Sakala. They are like their version of Maeda.
Yes.
Like, they might not have the work rate, but
Pace.
they've got the pace and the intensity that, regardless of their lack of ability, which was startling, and you can see it a mile away, they are not good footballers. Right? That is just
Well, here's the
whether people
thing,
like it or
Bhoycie,
not. But I don't think. Let me finish. Please let me get there, because
Go ahead.
let me get there, please. Like, because it's a good discussion point. But you go, sometimes Maeda is almost Ange going, even Ange ball isn't all it's made out to be, because Maeda's the key part of it. Same with the Japanese national team. Maybe our football team isn't all it's made out to be, because all we're looking for really for Maeda is being a pest, running your bollocks off, fit as fuck, and there's not actually that much quality coming out at times. I know the cross he's done, but trust me, like Didier Agat had a better cross succession rate, for assists than what Maeda would. However, what I seen for Rangers when Sakala and Matondo came on was maybe not as nice on the eye as some of their other players, but the basic qualities, pace, intensity, being a pest, seemed to help. It did seem to help their cause, and actually, we didn't really like that much. I always thought football was progressing, Terry. I feel we're almost going back the way in a way. I don't mean from a knuckle draggling, hammer throwing point of view, but sometimes fundamentals like a work ethic, pace, and I keep saying pace. I'll say pace one more time, pace, but work ethic, pace, and intensity seems to take you a wee bit further now maybe in football than it always did before. But I thought those two guys asked us a hell of a lot more problems than what Ryan Kent could probably do with an orange, Matondo or Sakala could do with a football. Do you know what I mean? Orange being a strange choice of fruit.
Bhoycie, it's like any business or any workplace. Everything goes around in cycles. Somebody comes in, they've got an idea, they go with it. Then it goes out of fashion. Then another 10 years down the line, somebody comes in, uses the same idea that was a great idea 10 years ago, and everything keeps running in cycles. I think we've got the measure of Morelos. We've got the measure of Kent. Those guys coming on, as you say, they probably aren't quality players. I mean, I don't remember Matondo ever coming on against Celtic before. I don't remember seeing him playing against us, to be honest. If he did, he had no impact. But Sakala's one that is always in the back of your head. He could be a bit of an enigma because he probably isn't the most talented. But as you say, once you've got that pace, and what I was going to say to you earlier was, imagine if you put Usain Bolt up front for Rangers against Celtic. He's got no football ability because he tried to become a footballer. But if he come on up front just with that pace, imagine the mayhem he would cause just by running, just by having an advantage, getting balls down the channel, chasing balls in behind. It doesn't matter if you've got zero ability. He's going to cause problems. He's going to give you something to think about. It's something different. And that's probably why Maeda is such a danger for us, because
have they missed the trick there, Terry? Have they missed the trick?
Starting something like that.
I think, in my opinion, those two. I know Matondo his output was absolutely dreadful, right? But you could argue that Maeda, apart from the assist, which of course is a crucial moment, you take that out of it and you go, he's ineffective at times, but he's consuming minds. I feel our defenders' minds are far more consumed when Sakala's in the park, especially because we've seen evidence of that now over a period of time.
Yeah.
But I even thought Matondo today at times, I went, I didn't fucking like him playing. It's a weird vibe, that, because I do think, for all we slag off Ryan Kent, I think he can obviously play football better than these boys, but we've got his number. Like, he'll be fucking off in the summer.
Exactly.
I think sometimes
we know what we're doing with Kent. We've got Kent and Morelos, Carter Vickers, Starfelt. They know what they're doing with Morelos. He causes no threat whatsoever. He's got no pace, and I honestly felt there was more danger. Sakala's probably the one that strikes fear into you, but he's probably the least talented out of all those guys. Just because of that, just because of the pace.
And do you think in his tiny wee pea brain of virtue signaling, Mickey Beale went, we'll wait till the team tires out a bit before we start doing that tactic? Is that the deliberate tactic? If it were me, I think you would go all out to get our defence turning and facing their own goal. I think that's a way to get at Celtic, if I'm honest. and I don't think they utilise it enough, and they tend to do it when it's desperation. And when it's desperation, once guys get a ball and you're desperate, you're not as effective with the ball. It's a tricky one, that, but I can't help but feel when I watched those guys come on, I went, do you know what? I don't think either of them are particularly great footballers, but they're giving me the fear a wee bit more than the other ones are.
But you've just got the nerves around the game. You're sitting thinking here, we're ahead here. We're not playing great, but we're in control. We've got the goal up. If we lose one here, they've got the ascendancy. They're the ones putting the pressure on. We're on the cusp of a treble. You've all this stuff running through your head. I bet you if you sit back tomorrow, I know you won't do this because you couldn't be arsed, and neither could I. But there will be people who will sit back and watch that game from start to finish tomorrow. And I bet you if you watch it from start to finish, what the fuck's that?
I see.
I bet if you watch that game from start to finish tomorrow, you come away going, actually, we were a lot more comfortable there than it looked, or what I felt yesterday. We were more comfortable than what I felt yesterday. Like my dad was sitting and he was holding on to his fucking heart.
Is this the way to play Celtic, Terry? Is this the way to play Celtic? I think when we've got the budget we do, and again, by the way, Ange hasn't spent outlay-wise a lot of money because he's brought in so much in terms of sales. But when you look at the players he's brought in, they are of a higher quality of player because, yes, they've cost more, albeit the actual net transfer doesn't look a lot for Ange. He has been able to bring in guys for a few £1 million in every position that he wants to bring in them in.
Is that not a few £1 million there? What's that there?
Aye, so Alex Subsey has came in for the second time today with 1,967 Thailand baht, I believe it's called. I think it's 45, 46 quid.
Stop.
But, aye, and that's twice today. Alex, I can't thank you enough, mate. Like, but we're a humble bus, Terry. We don't, like, you know me, like, fucking, you know me.
All you want's the diesel.
All
you want's the diesel to run it.
We just work our bollocks off, mate. You know, we
you do. I just turn up once a week and get pissed.
Aye, but I love you being on it, mate. I think folk realise with this channel that I'm showing how easy this is to do it. If you're a sound bastard and you actually watch Celtic a lot, you can work your balls off and still be able to do something like this. Don't let idiots fool you that they're always creating and, you know, shut up, mate. But thank you, Alex Subsey, so much. And he was actually going to times it by 10 had we won 5-1. So what I will do as a gesture will be, come the end of this month, Alex, once that comes in, because I don't get it for YouTube till the end of the month, I will put both of the 46 quids, that'd be, what, £92? We'll put £92 to a charity of your choice, Alex. How about that?
Super.
And I think that's the best thing I could do.
Superb.
And I'll post it on here once I've done it. But Alex, you tell me the charity you want it to go to, and I will do that.
See, come back to your question, Bhoycie. See, do you know who I think would be the perfect manager to play against this Ange team? Who do you think? Big red button. Big red button. Here. No, big red button. The manager that could play against Ange's system. Lenny.
Oh, Lenny. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I thought you said chaos. The best player.
No,
sorry.
Manager. The chaos factor. I think the chaos factor is the only thing that will spook this team. And I think that's what Mickey Beale tried to do in the second half when his normal system and his normal players, his normal go-to guys that we've sussed out over years, Kent, Morelos, those guys weren't doing it. He's then gone for the chaos factor, and that's probably spooked us a little bit. And nobody does the chaos factor like fucking Lenny. Do you know what I mean? I think Lenny would be absolutely the only manager that could possibly find a way to derail this team, because Lenny's teams excelled when there was absolute fucking chaos. And I'm sure a lot of the people watching seen his little interview or video or whatever you want to call it during the week, where he's now got the all clear from the Cyprus tax people to get his money back into the UK. He's ready. He's ready to go.
What was his record like against Celtic? You know, against Rogers Celtic when he was with Hibs, it was a joke.
Lenny's one of my
Where
favourites.
does he
Like,
get beat,
Lenny
mate?
is
And
one
but
of
that is the problem. I
my
felt
favourite Celts ever is Tommy Burns, then Lenny, and then it's a bit of a bun fight. But those are my favourites. Those are my favourites. Like,
so. Terry, see, I'm just asking a question, by the way. This
Go ahead.
is so
I am
run of the
listening.
mill.
I'm listening
It's a
to you.
run of the mill question, mate. Run of
Yes,
the mill
mate.
question, and I want people's views. I would love to see it in the chat. Who'd be your top 5 Celtic players of all time?
I don't go on just natural ability, right?
Of all time, just
I
who
go
would be
on
the
people I fall in love with, right?
Who would be no, that's not. I'm asking you. Answer
What you
the
asking me?
question.
In terms of
Who's
quality player
the best 5 Celtic players? Terry, think what I'm asking
that I've seen. Has to be players that
No,
I've
not
seen.
that you've seen. No. Who's the best 5 all-time Celtic players, Terry?
Aye,
I
but
like
listen,
this question.
well, listen, boys. I only started going to watch games in
Quite
1980,
topical.
so I haven't seen Jinky and guys like that. I can only base it on videos. Do you know what
Who's
I mean?
the top 5 Celtics?
Right, listen. I'm going to go on players I've seen, and that's it. I don't care what the rules are. The best 5. Henrik.
Yep, I agree. Henrik Larsson. Kupla Khan comes in. Henrik Larsson.
Henrik Larsson. Paul Elliott.
Oh, fuck. Oh, we're in the Wee Fellas podcast.
Paul Elliott.
Got it. Oh, shit.
What I say? You ain't seen him. You're too young. Paul Elliott was Carter Vickers and Van Dijk rolled together. The only thing that stopped that guy going to the top was an injury.
Yep.
I'm going to go Van Dijk next. Then I'm going to go Moravcik.
Oh, really? Marav. Yeah. So the best 5 players we've ever seen for Celtic.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk is in it.
Yeah. Of course he is. He was the best centre back in the world for about 3 years.
Go with DeMarco. Terry's best.
He was the best centre back in the world for 3 years.
Two treble.
You're talking
Bhoycie Bus
nonsense. You're talking nonsense. Nope. I'm going to go Henrik Larsson, Paul Elliott, Virgil van Dijk, Lubomir Moravcik, and number 5 won't be popular, but he was fucking superb.
But so it's just so you've been at games to see.
Paolo Di Canio. That's it.
Bruce FM just said Di Canio.
That's my 5. That's my 5-a-side team.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough.
My favourite players were Tommy Burns and Neil Lennon.
I mean, I was suggesting the 5 best that have ever played for Celtic, you know?
Yeah, but I haven't seen those guys. I can't make a judgment on guys that I haven't seen in the flesh. I just can't do it.
You can't do.
Otherwise, you're picking
in the flesh.
You're picking a few from the Lions, but I never seen the Lions. I know I might look as if I should have seen
them. He says Betty Old, King Kenny.
Probably.
Kenny Paul McStay.
I didn't leave out Paul McStay.
John Duncan says King Kenny, Jinky McStay, Larson, Billy Bigneil. Yeah, I mean, I think this.
I can only go on guys I've seen. What? Well, then let's flip it. Who are your 5 and what you've seen?
In terms of what I've seen is a completely different question. I know.
Yeah, I can only comment on what I've seen.
I know Jinky Johnson's the best player that's ever played because I know people would vote for him over Henrik that watched both.
Yeah,
and for me that tells its own tale.
The best 5 you've seen.
Best 5 I've seen. If I'm honest, I'll go number 1, Henrik Larsson.
Same. So we're the same. We're the same so far.
In terms of what we've seen, but that wasn't the question I asked you. You've changed the question, but fair enough, we're not the same because I answer questions you asked me, Terry, directly.
Okay. So the question you asked me, I couldn't answer because I haven't seen. I've only been in this earth 46 years. I can't fucking comment on stuff that happened before then.
You're an idiot, mate. Right, so the Beatles were shite then.
Driver, next stop, off.
You weren't there when the Beatles came out. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck off. As much as I think they're shite. I think, from what I've seen, I would go Henrik.
Yep.
I want to say McStay, but it's complete dad bias.
You didn't see McStay.
My dad told me.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And my first memory of him was missing a penalty against Raith Rovers. So he's at the back of the list.
I was at that game.
McStay
was unreal.
From what I've seen,
the question again,
David Kelly says the Beatles are shite. I could not agree more, David. Could not agree more. Right. from what I've seen,
You started well.
Henrik, I'm going to go
Yeah,
John
McStay.
Collins.
McStay, Collins, yeah.
No, McStay's not in it because I didn't see enough of him.
Right.
So it's Henrik, it's
Collins.
McStay, then it's Chris Sutton.
No, you said Collins. You didn't say McStay.
Oh, sorry. Fuck's sake. Henrik, Collins,
Yeah.
and then it's Sutton. I nearly want to say McStay again.
You love Sutton.
McStay is complete bias because of my dad.
You love Sutton.
Sutton, no, but Sutton was unreal. Sutton was unreal. Sutton was the guy that looked around the team and went, "Yous haven't done what I've done.
Bhoycie,
Yous have
Sutton
not."
was-
Let me finish.
Yes, go ahead.
Sutton is a Premier League winner and also had already been, before he won the Premier League, a Golden Boot winner, which people forget. He was at Norwich, 21 years old, Golden Boot winner in the English Premier League, joining us at 27. Tell me that now, how much that would cost us? 90 million?
He wasn't.
Right?
He wasn't easy on the eye, but that guy made the
He was
absolute
so
maximum of his
clever,
talent.
though, than you think.
Yeah.
He was so clever. And Larson says he played with the best. The best partner I ever had was Chris Sutton. He's
He took the
included in
box
that.
here. He took the box
Zlatan.
here. No, Larson
Oh,
didn't
no.
Larson
Sutton,
didn't play
Henrik
sure.
above.
He played with
Aye.
Ibrahimovic. He
Sutton
played with the
could play,
guys
mate.
from Barca.
Sutton knew how to do the dirty stuff, but Sutton could play.
Aye,
See
he was
about the
clever.
flicks. See when you watch some of the layoffs he did. That's not an idiot, Terry, playing football who's just win the ball and a flick it down. Sutton
See, if
had
you can
so
play
much
centre
more.
back and centre
No.
forward as well as each other, you're a good footballer.
So if Sutton's number 3, we need to get to number 4, and that
Get
would
two
be
more.
Lubo.
Yep.
It's the two-footedness.
Yep.
Can he deal with how good he was?
How did he never
Beefy.
get a move before us that made the headlines?
And I hate all the, again, it's like the virtue signaling, one of my phrases of the day. It's the one that you go, see when they go fucking, Zidane said that he could have played for everyone. Well, did he really? Did he really say that at the time? Because someone would have listened to Zidane. Do you know what I mean?
Here, did you hear
if
the same
that's a
word
relevant
getting used?
argument.
Did you hear the same word getting used about 5 times between Callum McGregor and Ange in the interviews today? A new word, facet, the facets of the
The
game.
facets, yeah.
That was used
yeah.
5 times in 2 interviews.
Number
Right, so you're-
5. One
you're down
number
to 4.
5.
One more.
Number 5. I've got a belter here. And for me, I know why. I know his whole story. I've watched so many interviews with him, especially in lockdown.
Liam McGrandles.
Well, Liam McGrandles is, yes, the 5th best ever not to play for Celtic. Paul Lambert, mate. Paul Lambert.
Lambo. Aye.
Paul Lambert was everything Barry Ferguson wanted to be. He was
He just-
everything
he ju-
Barry Ferguson wanted to be. They actually played the game quite similarly.
Just on the simple things.
I
but
thought,
he
yeah,
fucking
but
done
he
so
didn't
well.
just do the simple things.
Yes, he
Look
did.
at Paul Lambert's 10 goals for Celtic. His best 10 goals, I should say.
Did he
They're
get 10?
all worldies. Mate, they're
Did he get
all
10?
worldies. Like, the goals he's got. This guy is a joke of a player. But again, this comes down to what I've seen in my life. But if I was talking about the best players to ever play for Celtic, I would say Jinky, Henrik, Kenny, Sutton, and Paul McStay. Paul McStay before Sutton. But that
It's very
number
hard,
5.
Russell. It's very hard to talk about players you haven't seen in the flesh or on TV.
It is.
It's very difficult.
But Lambert, like, see when you look back at Paul, we signed a guy who, do you know when he played that final for Dortmund against Juve? He got man of the match, obviously. Martin Zidane at the game. Do you know Juventus tried to sign him that summer?
It's all about how you.
Did you
watch.
know? Listen, I'm asking you a question.
You asked me a question. I'm answering
Did you
it.
know Juventus tried to sign him that summer?
Ah, you asked me that, but I'm trying to answer it, and then you're jumping in the game.
Oh, it didn't sound like you were answering it. It sounded like you were away down Terry Road.
No, I'm starting to answer your question.
Sorry.
It depends on how you watch the game. So some people could watch a game and think Paul Lambert has done nothing. Other people could watch a game and see what Lambert did, just using his brain, just being the guy that moves into a space, anticipating where the ball's going to come. The ball comes to him. It looks so simple. It looks as if, oh, he's just happened to be in the place where the ball comes. But that's anticipation. That's one skill set. That's watching the game, anticipating where the ball's going to go, anticipating who the ball's going to come to, moving across, getting into position, all that kind of stuff. It sounds so basic and so simple, but to actually do the simple things in football is a great skill in itself. I mean, look at Lenny. I mean, Lenny's one of my favourites. Lenny was
Only name and number I ever had in the back of my shirt.
he was as slow as fucking
Doesn't
shot
matter.
water. But listen,
See everything Lundstrom wants to be, right, in a holding midfielder, Terry. This is the difference, right? So Lenny had those moments. And he had the moments Lundstrom had today, right? But when he was reading the game, he was winning the battles first, then going, remember, I'm here. And that's what Lenny, anyone who doubts that, look at his track record, look at his CV, I remember watching, see Lundstrom is a wannabe that guy. He now struts about after 10 minutes thinking, I'll win this fixture. Everyone's like that looking at him going, nobody thinks that though, apart from you. It's posturing, it's bullshit. But yes, I think Neil Lennon's a huge name in the list, in my opinion, on favourite players, not the best. Do you know what I mean?
I was just having a wee look there, Bhoycie.
What about this though, list for Alex Subsey?
Aye, very good.
Because Alex Subsey's the man who's donated today twice 1,967 of 1767 Thailand baht.
Paul Elliott's in there, Bhoycie. You scorned at me. You scorned.
I didn't scorn. I just thought I thought that was your wee fella's mindset.
Rolls Royce. Listen, mate, I was having a wee look there. I was having a look for I have a bottle of Scottish Leader, and I got it from the hotline phone in the record.
Oh!
What?
There's a change to it. It says Bobby Lennox for Nakamura.
Right. I got a bottle of Scottish Leader sent to me by the record. You know the hotline phone in, and they were giving Lenny dogs abuse the whole way through the week about how unfit he looks, how sluggish he looks, how fucking overweight he looks. And I rang into the hotline, and I rang into the hotline. I got the quote of the day. You know the way the comment of the day gets a bottle of Scottish Leader, and I just turned around and said, all these guys are getting on Neil Lennon's back about how sluggish, unfit, all these fucking words that they're using. I said, Neil Lennon is slow. He's a slow runner. That's just his natural. He can't run very fast. But Neil Lennon, his brain is a fucking 100 mile an hour. How many times did Neil Lennon make the interception? How many times did Neil Lennon block a pass in midfield? How many times did the ball just happen to land at Neil Lennon's boot? None of those things are by chance. Those things are because Neil Lennon put himself in the right position to get that ball. He read the game. He knew where the ball was going to come. He knew who it was going to come to. He was in. He made the tackle. He was just slow. He wasn't unfit. He was fucking one of the fittest players. He was fucking slow. He just couldn't run fast. And that made him look as if he was always in slow motion against somebody in fast forward. But his brain was a fucking 100 mile an hour.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant player. Brilliant player.
Aye, I agree with you on that. I agree with you. I always remember there was a Valencia game and we played we went to lose it in penalties.
Oh,
see that game?
Probably the best atmosphere at Celtic Park I've ever been at.
Me and my dad were, I know folk think like you need to be at Celtic Park to be a real fan and all that bollocks, right? Which I don't subscribe to. And I asked my dad that, and if you'd sat and watching that game in my living room with my dad, then you'd know what being a Celtic fan meant.
It was unreal. It was unreal.
Right?
I was at the end behind the nets at the time.
This was the 2001, 2002 season, the year before Seville, and it goes to a fucking we've got a long free kick for deep right. It's not going to be a Gat ticket. Probably Thompson has had to come over to take it, or Petrov, and it just zooms in briefly, right? You know, like how the camera pans in on the marking, the jostling, and Dad's like, "Did you just see that?" And it's just Sutty with Ayala, who was at that point Argentina's number one centre back. They're hard and known for being the hardest man to play. It's Sutton just grabbing him by the fucking sleeve, Terry, and just stands on his toes. He just stands out, and you watch him howling. Ball comes in, and it's like, Dad, you'll never see that replay again. Did you just see that? I went, I kind of got it, but I don't. My memory's not as good as he tuned in on it. But that is what Sutton was all about. He's like, see off the ball, beat me off the ball, you'll be good. See on the ball, I think Sutton was underrated, underestimated. But off the ball, fucking hell. What a footballer, man.
Do you know, you can see it now, Sutton's a big personality in the media and all that. Big personalities on the football pitch. That's an attribute. That is a key attribute. And you can see that Seville team that we had, think of all the big fucking personalities. You'd Sutton, you had Hartson, who's a big personality. You had Larson, who was obviously a fucking superb player. Lennon, big personality.
These
Paul
guys
Lambert,
were signed by
Champions League
design,
winner.
Terry. They were
Eh?
signed by design by O'Neill.
Oh,
I think that was we seem to wet the bed.
Martin was
We wet the
educated
bed.
in the same school as me. He's not a stupid guy.
We wet the bed, do we? Oh no, that's fair. And we wet the bed when Ange says, "Oh, I signed the person, not just the player." We're like, "Oh, how amazing and how nice is that?" But it's the same trick of the trade we've seen in the past. Martin O'Neill signed the player, but the person as well. But go on.
Did you see the wee moment of respect, mutual respect between Ange and Martin after the game, where Ange turned round? It was something about the treble, and Ange turned round and goes, basically, I'm on the cusp of something, but then I look over and see guys that have done a lot more than me. And Martin, he thinks about it that whoever's fucking leading the show, your woman, she comes in and sort of says something. Then you can see Martin's brain ticking over. He wants to say something funny. He wants to say something honest. He wants to say something that captures the moment. And he just crisps back, I think you're doing okay. I think you're doing okay. But it was a moment of mutual respect. And
you can see at the end, he was doing the sensational thing with what he did with Larson. That's what he was doing. It was like the mic's getting cut off, Martin. He's going, brilliant. It means the world when it comes for him. He's still got that gravitas.
Here's the thing, Bhoycie. O'Neill's team, and we look back, and you do. I know Martin is one of your favourite Celtic men ever, and obviously he's from over here, and I went to the same school as him, and he's somebody that I look up to. But Martin O'Neill's Celtic weren't the fucking best on the eye. They weren't easy on the eye. It was hard to watch at times. You're looking up in the air, and the ball's fired up to Sutton and Hartson, but because it worked, because there was success, because Martin was a charismatic,
is that underestimated as
you
well?
look back and think that's one of the greatest eras of Celtic's fucking time.
Yeah, but I disagree. I think there's so many good goals scored, mate. So many good goals scored.
I know, but can you imagine that team trying to play the same way as Ange's team plays? Can you imagine the goalkeeper? Can you imagine Rob Douglas?
Can
you imagine Rob Douglas taking the goal kick to give it to Bobo Balde on the fucking 6-yard line?
You've asked the question, mate. You've asked the question. Peter Martin asked it. He asked Neil Lennon it.
Go ahead.
Who wins the game? Very, very quick. My wife passed good comments on your top, boys. I thought, Jesus, Michael, I thought your wife passed away. I was like,
Jesus, I read that the same voice. I read that the same.
Michael. Jesus, Michael. Yeah, thanks for your
treble here.
Glad you like the top. Glad that make it another treble. But we need to have the chat.
These trebles are just too easy here.
We need to have the chat. We need to have the chat because it's your era as much as it is mine.
I'm running out of mixers here, Bhoycie, fast.
2003.
Yeah.
That's Seville's starting lineup.
Yeah.
I don't actually think is the best Celtic start lineup on their own.
Nope.
I think there's a wee missing link. But anyway, if you look at that team, who wins?
Seville.
Is Lennon bitter for saying that? Or do people believe that Lennon?
There were two.
They read the headline. They think Lennon's talking about. They think Lennon's talking about his Celtic teams as a manager.
Nah.
They're not realising it, and then they can't back down.
Two streetways, boys. See, that team's two streetways. You had a Champions League winner in there. You had a fucking English Premiership League winner in there. You had one of the best players in Europe in there, Henrik Larsson. You had John Hartson, a fucking proven Premiership player. That team was just so streetwise. They weren't easy on the eye. They weren't a Celtic team that you think about if you're thinking about the best moments, the best goals, the best season.
But look at some of the goals, though. I look at Ibrox. When Larsson does the wee flick for Hartson to tap in after 60 seconds. They could play, mate. But they just knew how to be.
Here's the thing, though, Bhoycie. Here's the thing. See if it didn't work, Martin would have found a way to make it work. Do you know what I mean? If that approach didn't work, Martin would have found a way to make it work.
I agree. I think for me, I just think there was I think I'm just getting there though, Terry. We're entering the third season.
Different ways to win a game of football. Martin, see what he done, Bhoycie. See those three centre backs that he had. Notice when we done our teams, none of us. You said the five aside. None of us mentioned Mjällby, Balde, Valgaeren.
Yeah, Valgaeren would struggle. For me, he went off the radar. I thought he was.
I'll be honest. See, out of those three, I thought Valgaeren was the best footballer.
No, first season he was amazing.
Man.
He fell away. He fell away, mate. He fell away. He was never the same player.
Balde was a myth.
No,
Balde's a myth. See all these young guys going about now that never seen him play and they're fucking singing Bobo's going to get you. He was a myth. He couldn't kick his hole. All he could do was fucking stand there and clear everything with his head. If it didn't come to his head, he was a waste of space. But because he was part of that Martin O'Neill fucking team, Bobo's going to get you, all this myth. Bobo was shite. I mean, I don't go on Phil's food very often.
I think you're a banger older, mate.
He was shite.
He was not shite, mate. That's bullshit. You're wrong.
Bhoycie, stop.
You're so wrong. It's actually annoying me you're saying that.
Stop. He was
You're
shite.
full of shite.
Bobo Balde was shite.
That is bullshit, mate.
If the ball was in the air, Bobo won it. See if
why did Strachan play him for 2 seasons, mate? Tell me.
Why did Strachan put him on the sideline?
Because obviously O'Neill, you're going to associate with the dinosaur bull stuff, like the bullshit, right? You're going to associate the dinosaur football with O'Neill.
I just didn't think Balde was a good
fuck
footballer.
off, Terry.
He wasn't a good footballer.
That wasn't the point of his job, and I think he was a fantastic centre back for Celtic. Fantastic.
I think he was very good at winning the ball. But I think he was very, very limited as a football player.
I think but I don't want necessarily always footballers. I look at Carl Starfelt, funnily enough, you hate as well, who I am looking at now.
No.
Coming on to a game. Yes, you do. You don't like him. You don't like him.
I don't hate him. I just comment on
But he is now winning you over because he is doing the job that this Celtic team needs.
Right. Hold on a second, Russell. Rossi. Hold on a second, Rossi.
You
comment
call me Rossi once more, you'll be cut off.
I comment on every player's performance as I see it. And
for those listening on audio, I am laughing right now, by the way.
I watch Carl Starfelt every week and I comment on post-match pish or whatever we're called now, as I honestly see it. Today I thought it was immense. But I watched Bobo Balde's every single performance, and my honest gut feel, yes, I did stand there and sing Bobo's going to get you and all the rest. I was all caught up in it. But when that guy had the ball at his feet, it was an absolute bomb scare. He was the most limited.
I remember he took the ball. I think you're so wrong because Bobo, what he did, whether clueless or whether...
Let's ask the guys that are watching.
He would take the ball in the midfield the way the other two could not do. He would take the ball to centre midfield and take players out the game. You're so wrong, Terry. You're so wrong. It's annoying me.
This was a bodybuilder on a football pitch. That's what Bobo was.
Bobo was the only one who would go, a defender comes near me, I don't need to pass square like Stafford and Cameron Carter because we always do. Bobo goes like this, touch, boom. Before you know it, he's got the ball at centre midfield. That is facts, mate.
Stop! You're making yourself look silly. Russell, cut this out. Cut this out of the recording. Seriously, you're making.
He didn't do that.
See whenever Tomo and all the guys are talking about Bobo and their best memories. Where does all their best memories take place about Bobo? In the tunnel where he fucking attacked players and fucking smashed their heads in. That's what happened. He was honestly, Russell. If you think that guy was a good footballer, there's something wrong with you.
So I said he was a good footballer. He was very important in that team.
He was,
took the ball to the halfway line.
My point was
any of the other centre halves. You said Valgaeren.
Valgaeren was a superb footballer.
But how often did he carry the ball to the halfway line?
Valgaeren was one of the best centre backs in that.
How often did he take the ball to the halfway line with the ball? Just tell me. How often did he carry the ball? He couldn't do that.
I didn't count him. Do you sit and count how often somebody goes to the halfway line? You're going to turn into the boy that counts the.
Bobo did it more than them. I thought Bobo was better than you. You think it's a fashion boy thing. I disagree. I think Mjällby was the best.
We're allowed to fall out. Listen, we fall out brave and often.
I
respect your view. I respect your view, but
Everyone
honestly,
wets the bed when we
I get
have a
annoyed when
debate,
it comes to
Kenny.
this Bobo thing because Bobo was so limited. See if we had somebody different in that Seville final other than Bobo, we'd have won that match. I say even if we had Ramon Vega, Stan Varga, any of them guys, we'd have won that match. Bobo cost us that match.
Does Cameron Carter-Vickers get an O'Neill's team?
Yes, ahead of
I
Bobo.
agree.
Head of Bobo.
Head of Bobo. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, he does.
I think CCV is the better one.
He's super.
I would play.
I would go CCV.
I also think CCV.
and Van Dijk.
I would
That's my
rather.
two.
I think Cameron Carter-Vickers with Bobo is my dynamic. I would want.
No.
I do. I believe that. I think that's. But
those two together.
it was
no,
three
I
we played at the back.
Vickers and
Remember,
Van
it was
Dijk.
three. So I would always have Mialbi, CCV, and then you've got Bobo. And I believe that with that combination, that's right. I think Starfelt, though, today showed traits today O'Neill liked, and I trust O'Neill's judgment. Yeah. And I get why O'Neill was, waxing lyrical, not wanking lyrical before you think, it's a mistype. I think O'Neill seen Starfelt, and I think he's seen in Starfelt something today. He went, ooh.
So did I.
Okay.
So did I.
There's a boy.
So did I.
You did as well.
I've seen things. I seen things today that I didn't think I'd be sitting here talking about. I think his problem is, Russell, when we're making all the play and you're relying on your defenders to make key passes. I think that's when he's got trouble. See, when the ball's getting fired into the box, I think he's proved himself. He's proved himself beyond doubt. When the ball's getting fired into our box, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to defend. The only problem is, in 95% of the games in Scotland, we're not defending. We're on the attack. And then you're maybe getting caught on a counter and stuff like that, where you don't have your proper defensive base. But the bit we haven't seen, and the bit we probably will see next year, because he missed all the Champions League games, is when we're on the back foot, when we need to defend in the Champions League, can he do it?
I think it's wonderful, though, because I think, and the whole time he's went, I built those two. The two guys I don't drop no matter what is the two centre-backs. If you look at when they've both been fully fit, never ever are they rested or any of this bullshit. Nothing. They play. See if they're fully fit, they play. And he comes out today and he goes, that's him done for the season. He's my boy.
What does that mean for Kobayashi? He's in now. He's got 6 games.
I think it tells you how highly rated Starfelt.
I still
think that's wonderful, though. You need to understand, and I also believe he has looked at that Champions League campaign and goes, for Ange's point of view, he goes, I get all the praise for the attacking football. All the attacking football I get the praise for. He goes, see my master plan with Celtic was last year, which folk maybe aren't as aware of, is getting those two bastards in the back. See, once I had those two, that's when we started winning games together. We don't lose when those two play. We just genuinely do not lose. Messi, he wants those two to then go, Champions League, can you repeat the trick? I think there's a faith he's got in Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Maybe not because Starfelt's this amazing defender, Terry, or amazing player, sorry, I should say.
Yeah.
A brilliant defender. But as a partnership, I think that's the foundation to allow Ange to then go, we won't have 92 shots and not goals again, because that ratio won't happen again, right? That's almost impossible to achieve, the lack of goals we got from that, creating that many chances. But see, when I get my two boys together, at the back, we're going to have them. We're going to make their imprint. I think that will be huge for Ange. I think he'll be very reluctant, no matter who it is he brings in, to replicate, trying to find the trust and the belief. Whether we think CCV's miles away in terms of ability to Starfelt or not, those two guys are in tandem. It's mental. They are in total tandem. And I do honestly feel like that's the itch that Ange needs to scratch. If he was right all along, then the Champions League could be far more fruitful this time around than it was before.
Here, Russell, what we're going to see now in the last 6 weeks is what we've seen already. Kobayashi and Starfelt together. I said last week, and I really, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think we've seen Carter Vickers and Kobayashi. I think each time we've seen Kobayashi is when Carter Vickers has been rested because of pitch or because of knock or something like that. I don't think we've seen Carter Vickers and Kobayashi together, and we won't see it because Carter Vickers is done for the season. Whenever Kobayashi came in, I'm sort of thinking, right, in the manager's mind, this is going to be a centre-back partnership for next year, Carter Vickers and Kobayashi. But going into the start of next season, we're not going to see those two guys together at all. We're not going to have seen them. Every time Kobayashi's come in, it's not to replace Starfelt. It's been to replace Carter Vickers because we've left him out for injury or because of pitch or because of some of those things. But the next 6 games is a massive chance for Kobayashi to make a case for himself. But it doesn't matter what he does. He's not going to replace CCV, which is it's kind of ironic. He's going to be playing against Starfelt, along with Starfelt. But to me, it's those two playing for the one position. Do you know what I mean?
Which is where you lie on you have to go back to what Angie's philosophy was last year. He rotated Terry. He changed positions left, right, and centre of players. He has rotated the squad. The two guys, when they're both fit, he plays guaranteed will be those two centre halves. And he never was once afforded that opportunity in the Champions League this season. I've got a feeling that Ange will go, "You're in for a fright, you bunch of bastards. Wait till you see these two boys together in the Champions League, because they'll do the dug meat stuff. They'll do the stuff that you know might not be Ange ball, but I know why they're in the team to do it." And I think the two of them they're an epitome of not what we attribute to being Ange ball. They're the absolute, not the epitome, they're the opposite. They're the definition of how much Ange has adapted and how much folk thinking this guy only has one way to pick a play, pick a player or to pick a team. There's only one way. There's only one profile of player that he likes. Bullshit, utter bullshit. And I think these two guys, the standouts now. I know Kamikawa is quite tight in the ball when he's got space and time. But he's got the dirty stuff to him, mate. See when Morelos goes through him, and Morelos enjoyed going through him. It's the fact that he's thought my thigh will cover that ball. That's the old school way of thinking, mate. Like, get the thigh in there.
Well, see the one he blocked. Did you not think, if you're watching on the same footage as me, the time he blocked it, I thought it was in the net. It came out for a throw in, so it was nowhere near the net. But when you're watching on TV, you think it's in the fucking net.
Read that out, mate. That's just.
I wish we knew we were in the good times before we left them. We know.
I think Ryan M has absolutely nailed it there. Realising you're in the good times.
What Ryan M?
Brilliant point that. And we are in the good times. Terry, I went way over what I wanted to do. I'm going to leave it there.
Everybody wants you to stay on.
They don't want me to stay on, mate. Honestly, they can't be what Arsenal sent me. Nobody wants me to stay on. I've spoke so much shite. It's unreal. No, I'm done. I've enjoyed the comments.
A few memberships there, Bhoycie. Go on. Buy a few memberships for the passengers. I'll split it with you.
I can do that. like you start talking shite then, and I'll go buy 5 memberships right now.
Right, go you and buy 5 memberships. So what shite are we going to talk?
Well, you need to start it then. I'll do it right now. That's a great point, though. I don't know how to do memberships.
I don't know how to do memberships. I don't know.
I'll do that. I don't want the money. I'll just do it.
But what I take away from today is, I don't think we were anywhere near our best. I don't think we've been anywhere near our best in the last 4 Celtic Rangers games. But we've won 3 of them and we've drew 1 of them. I think what this team has got is a way to win, an absolute resilience where no matter what way the game plays out, we will find a way to get the right result. And that comes from the manager. That comes down through all the training they do every single day, the mindset that's instilled in them. My honest gut feel is, Ange talked about how we finished the season strongly. I don't think we finished this season strongly. I think we're we're running them empty. I really do. I think we peaked, but I think we peaked at the time we needed to peak to make sure we won the league. I think we've done our hard work in the months of November, December, and January. We probably had to do it a wee bit earlier this year than in previous years because we had to get ourselves in the right position. The hard work was done at the end of January, start of February, and now we're probably running on fumes. But today's match was the one that we had to get a result in. I don't think we were the better team today. I think we were slightly on top first half. I think we were well off it in the first half. Second half today. I think we finished the game okay. I think we've seen it out fine.
I disagree with you, Terry. I thought we were the better team at all attributes. All attributes.
Shush you. You're meant to be giving out memberships.
That's 5 bot.
I think we worked our way out as to where this game's going. We've got the goal. We're not on top. We need to find a way to get the result by hook or by crook, and we got there. I think we found it, and that's a skill in itself. Finding a way to win when you're probably not at your best. And we've done that. We're on our way to a treble. I don't know about you, Bhoycie, but I have got a fucking itch that has been fucking scratching me for about 20 years with Inverness Caledonian Thistle. And I fucking want that itch scratched. I want to put them fuckers to the sword because they cost me probably 2 of the top 5 worst moments of my Celtic supporting lifetime. And I'm not just talking the defeat in the John Barnes era, as embarrassing as it was. Martin O'Neill, with that team that went to Seville, lost a cup game against Inverness as well. I think this is a team, we just need to go out there and we need to show them who's boss. And I just want us to focus on that cup match. The league games will sort themselves out. I know there's supporters that are wanting to win the 5 games to get the best points total and goals totals and all that stuff. I think the manager, when he said today, that's Carter Vickers wrapped up in cotton wool for next season. That's him saying the league's done. That's him saying we should be able to win this cup final without Cameron Carter Vickers. That cup final for me, there's been an itch with Inverness Cali, and I'm just going to scratch it for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever it is. I want us to put them boys to the sword because they've caused me grief. It wasn't just the John Barnes. It wasn't just the Martin O'Neill. We also lost the Ronnie Dyla game against them as well. I think there's been 3 upsets against Inverness Caledonian. And as much as we probably think today was us winning the cup, and I honestly think we'll win it, this is a team through history, and I'm not one of these people that believes history has any influence on the future. It fucking doesn't. Like, none of the players that beat us the last time or the time before that or the time during John, none of those players are there, so it has absolutely no bearing on this game. But I would love us to just go out and put Inverness Cali to the sword just to scratch that itch that's been annoying me for a long, long time.
It's so hard to say it because it's like, fuck, they do have almost a hold on you. But I also believe, Terry, like for me, like this is what we do. We erase the wrongs of the past. And I believe that the quadruple treble was us going, this is what happens when it's fair. This is what we do to you when it's fair. We're the biggest team in the country. You beat us in the COVID season. Of course you did. And it was the same COVID season for everyone. I get all that.
Hey, Russell, see the COVID season. Lenny made a good point. And he talks a lot of shite, by the way, and he's self-preservation and he's trying to get a job and all that. I get all of that.
Yes.
But the points Lenny made, he rhymed off all the big teams in all the big leagues that didn't win their league that season because it was such an abnormal season. It was so against the grain. Everything that happened that season was against the norm. And he rhymed off all the big teams that didn't win their leagues. And Celtic were one of them. But listen, can you imagine if we had won the league that year? What kind of dominance would that be? What would we be sitting on now? 13? 12, 13?
I don't know. I think the argument could be higher than
Last
that. Terry.
season, that was the only thing, Bhoycie. That was the only thing. A complete and total force majeure event was the only thing that was going to stop Celtic, and it did. That's the only thing. Something that stopped the whole world and affected everybody in every walk of life. That was the only thing that could have stopped us. Rangers weren't going to stop us. Scottish football wasn't going to stop us. Nothing was going to stop us. That train was going. The only thing to stop us was something that stopped the whole world.
Could you argue though that, like, if it wasn't for Ange, as many doubts as I had in particular and vocally, I mean, how could you fathom him doing what he's just done as well? Like, that's also a freak of nature. What I don't mean him as a freak, just it's a freak of nature. Like the plot twist and the momentum shift that we've seen. I'm not convinced that's as straightforward as just going, I'm good at managing football teams and I'm good at, setting a side out and we're good at a philosophy.
What did you feel when you heard his name, Bhoycie?
Well, I had to take 3 days off work today at one point.
I'm just going, right, I've bought into this whole Eddie Howe thing, and now we're getting some fucking dickhead's name from fucking Australia, Greece, some asshole. That's what I thought.
I struggled to pronounce his name on the other fella's pod, and I woke up like to abuse. Like, I've never, you know me, I'm pretty sound in the head.
Who was it during the week? Who was it during the week? Couldn't pronounce his name.
No, it was me. Like, it was me.
No, there was somebody on the mainstream media couldn't pronounce his name.
Like you Keevans, I think. But anyway, we were on Axon. There's 3,000 live, and he'd just been. It wasn't announced he was taking the job, but it was now the red hot favourite. And we got told that an hour before. And Celtic fans literally were calling me a xenophobe, a racist, and all this stuff. And I've never had that in my life, like in any walk of life. I'm like that. Like, what? I ended up in a fucking hole, like feeling like depressed in that today, because I was like,
"Oh, I was."
These are labels. In my life,
I was watching 3 hours a day of Eddie Howe's fucking YouTube videos, coaching. Oh, I was going mental for Eddie Howe. And I say, to be honest, Bhoycie, as much as he's had financial backing, Eddie Howe has done some job at Newcastle. By the way, they're in the Champions League next year. Just fucking think about that.
Which I agree with. I mean, I think for the Eddie Howe point of view, that was never though in doubt. I think the ignorance towards Ange, I was guilty of to an extent.
Everybody was.
Sure. But I also stand by the fact when you get thrown a name like that, which you're not usually used to seeing, like to pronounce it then live on air when there's 3,000 watching, I felt like a bit of a bam. And I was like, Ange Posty.
Do you know what I'm on about? I'm not on about.
Let me go there.
Somebody butchered Haksabanovic during the week. That was it.
Yeah.
It was Kenny Miller, was it? Kenny Miller was Haksabanovic.
No, it was Tam McManus.
Tam McManus. That's what I was talking about.
But you know, that's the thing is like, see, like not knowing it, but something he should know because Haksabanovic has been at Celtic for now.
It's his only job. It's your only job.
Surely job. Fucking hell. But like back then, you're like, Ange Postecoglou came from nowhere. And I wasn't trying to be derogatory on that aspect. I just said it was underwhelming. Probably like Anmoy. But when I tried to pronounce his name, I got it all wrong, which is fine. And it was then described as like me being a racist and a xenophobe. And I found that aspect really tough to deal with, Terry, because I was like, I've never had those terms labelled at me in my life. That's just not who Bhoycie is. Bhoycie's sound. Like, I don't care about race and all that stuff. Like, it doesn't even, I don't even judge any of that stuff.
Have you given them memberships out yet?
Well, I'm trying, but it keeps saying error found when I'm doing it, and it's distracting me.
Your bank account isn't used to paying out. That's the only thing.
Fuck, right. No, it's no problem. If the bank account's fucked, then we're in real trouble. No, it just won't let me do it.
Right, Bhoycie, what's coming up in the bus?
Right, we'll do. Do you know what we'll do instead?
We'll talk about what's
We're gonna
coming
do
up in the bus.
kebab. We're gonna do kebab P.M.P again.
Kebab P.M.P.
Aye. First one in the chat. Tell me you want a kebab, and you can get a kebab, and that's
Right,
the best
I
way
want
to
one.
do it.
I want one.
You're not getting one. But the first
I'm
person
just-
says they want a
I'm
kebab,
still
I'll
with it
send
here.
you. Just send me your address and details, and we'll do it.
Here's the
But,
diet. The diet's going on here. I have to get down below 15 stone by the 14th of July for a
Do
bet.
you?
For a bet. Aye. The bet is I'm going to watch the darts at Blackpool, the World Match Play. If I'm weighing anything under 15 stone on the 14th of July, one of my best mates is buying me the first 10 rounds of drink. So that'll be 10 vodkas. 10
For what?
vodkas.
Say the bit again.
I have to get under 15 stone. When I weigh myself on the 14th at his house on his scales, I have to be 14 something.
What are you doing like?
And he's going to win. He's going to buy the first 14 rounds. Sorry, I'm talking shite here. The first 10 rounds of drink he's going to buy. So that's going to be 10 vodkas and 4 Red Bulls at the airport on our way to the darts.
That seems fair.
But I was 15-4 last Friday, but I had 3 days in the drink over the weekend, so I haven't weighed myself since because I probably went up again. But a good couple of days. I'm on it again today, but after today, I'll not be on it again until next weekend. But I've a darts competition Friday night and Saturday, so I'll be on it then. But I reckon I can do it. I reckon I can get down to under 14. I'll keep everybody watching. I'll keep everybody up.
If you lose that much weight, I swear to God, man.
July, I have to be 14 stone something. I was 16 and a half.
Do it, though.
I was 16 and a half at the start, huh?
You need to get a grip, mate. Do you know what I mean? You should be losing that sort of weight. Do you know what I mean? You get back to the weight you should be. You're a beautiful looking
listen,
boy,
man, I was
You're the handsomest bastard on this pod.
16 and a half.
I've been a wee bit disappointed that you just took it for granted recently.
No,
Just
do you
like,
know the thing is, Russell? I was watching myself. See, when you're on the pod,
I'm joking.
I was watching myself,
Oh,
and
I'm
my
the
face,
worst
every
there.
single week, my face was just getting bigger and bigger and fucking
it?
bigger. And then when you're
Honestly.
talking, and see when I started laughing, I could see my double chin starting to shake, and you just get to the stage
Aye.
where you're just going, do you know what? This isn't good. And then you see somebody like Steve-O coming in. He's brand new. And then
He's a gay
hosting
boy.
shows,
But aye,
shows and all the rest.
fuck.
And he's this sculpted face. Steve-O's he's just pure sculpted. And then you're sitting there, and every time you speak, your fucking double chin's waggling and all the rest. And you just go, do you know what, guys? This isn't a great look. Like, I'm turning out to be the fucking joke figure of the bus. And that's not what I want. I want to be here. I want to be here not for my fat face. I want to be here for my banter and my crack and my fucking analysis on the match. You know what
Your
I'm saying?
analysis. I mean, you've changed, bro. You've changed. But like in my mind, it's like I never really cared about the optics of how you look on screen. But then, like a year in, I'm so conscious of like the double chin and that. I'm like, I'm so
Double chin? You're about 6 stone wet, you silly fucker.
No, not now, mate. No. Since I've came here, honestly, mate, I'm putting the beef on. Trust me.
Darling,
I know
not
I
good
am.
for you.
I'm gonna need to start. I just don't like. I don't like the idea of like.
You and I come over. We'll go out and do a walk. We'll do a 5K walk, and we'll bring Curry out with us.
Aye, well, but I used to always like. I've always drank, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Aye, but Russell, you're getting to this stage in life where everything starts to catch up on you, man. You've got to just step back from it and go, right, what age are you? 35, 36?
Thank you. I'm 35.
Yes, at some point here, you're going to start going into middle life, which means every drink you take or every sandwich you eat or every fucking bar of chocolate, it just goes on and on and on. And someday you'll be like me, where you're looking down, you're trying to see your willy, and you can't see it because your belly's fucking too big.
No, that'll never be a problem, mate. No, that's never be a problem. That's fucking.
That either means you won't have a big belly.
I go
or you
for
have
a
a willy.
penis fucking slapping off the basin, man. Honestly, it's like a third leg. But I'm trying to get San Fan Celtic to. He says he's emailed me his address. I'm going to buy San Fan Celtic is the winner of the kebab competition tonight.
You're going to send him. Is he in San Fran?
I'm hoping not, because that's going to cost me a fortune.
How you going to order a kebab in San Fran?
I'm guessing it's just his nickname. But I've said
I'm guessing he's out there, and you're going to have to fucking
No.
Google San Francisco kebab shops. Get Liam to order it from Canada. It'd probably be cheaper.
Well, aye, we'll work out. I mean,
Hey, boys, what's coming up in the bus? What's coming up in the bus over the next few weeks? We're the last month of the season here. What's happening?
So we're gonna. He's a fucking dick. He's like, I've sent it. I'm in San Fran. You're a prick.
He is in San Francisco. Look.
I just didn't believe him.
Did his name not give it away? What's wrong with you?
All right, well, whoever comes in next.
No, give it to him.
I'll do it. I can't buy 5 memberships, so why not?
No,
I'll
get
buy
him a
one.
kebab in San Francisco.
I'm not paying for a kebab in San Francisco, no.
No, but you're not ordering it from Glasgow to San Francisco. Just ring a San
I ain't
Francisco.
doing it, mate. No, I don't need to do it, man. I was actually believing
Well,
it.
see, we're global.
But next
We're
one.
global here.
See the next one who says they want one. Just say, what you need to do is put in the term Lennon 18.
Bhoycie, the Bhoycie Bus is global here. You can't start ruling people out just because they're on the far side of the world.
Nah, he's winding me up, man. He's at 90 quid where he is, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that fucking keen. I love
Right,
San
what's the
Francisco,
next few
man.
weeks and months got in the bus?
Well, basically what's going to be happening, Terry, is obviously, I don't know, I did the Sunday Brunch with David earlier, right? So we done collectively, and you're a big part of this, we done like fucking 20,000, 22,000 views in the last, audio downloads, sorry, in the last 12 months, right?
Yeah.
See, in the last 4 days since we just joined the EPL Index, with the first Scottish fan media site to do that, folk can come taking the piss. I'm being honest, it's mental that they've signed us up. Insane. We've done 30,000 views in the last, 30,000 audio downloads in the last 4 days.
That'll go to 50 after the day.
After 4 days though, mate, my whole lifetime doing this, we've had 20,000 audio downloads. We've done 30,000 in the last 4 days. People are going to need to understand this bus doesn't stop. We're about to go fucking nuts. And do you know what? Bring it on. I ain't phased about being massive. I'm ready for it, man. And the same way Ange just goes, do you know what? We're going to win titles because we're going to win them on effort, application, and attitude. We bring the attitude bit, Terry. I don't know about the rest. You went silent. Anyway, right, what we'll do is, what's days tomorrow? Monday Club. I'm off tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I am going to do
Tuesday.
a wee, I know I'm going to do a Monday afternoon.
you doing a
I
Monday?
like a wee lunchtime
We
Monday.
bank holiday. Oh, bank holiday special.
Well, I am associated with Mondays at lunch. I am associated with Mondays at lunch. That's how I kind of started all this gig, doing like fucking
Yep.
podcasts and that. So I am going to do a Monday Club tour. Regan's coming on. I know that for a fact.
Brilliant.
And anyone else who's off tomorrow on the bank holiday, including yourself, Terry, more than welcome. After that, it'll be the Tuesday ticket with Jonathan, which is killing me, Terry. It's killing me, man. Because he's managed to get it back to 50-0 on sudden death. So my life's kind of over there.
Brazilians.
I'm dreading them. Robert Gibson, Bhoycie,
You doing
need to
the
cough up.
breakfast on Wednesday?
I am not coughing up for a San Francisco kebab. Fuck off, mate.
I think
do
you
know what I mean?
should. I think you should.
A 90 quid kebab, honestly.
No, just fucking email. Go on the website and send it round to his
I just
address.
send them
It'll cost
20
you about
quid.
15 quid.
Just send them 20 quid for a kebab. I'm happy
Aye,
to
do that. Do that instead. I think that's fair
Aye,
enough.
San Fran. I'm more than happy to do that.
That's
yeah,
fair
more
enough.
than
Then he can order one himself. I think that,
But yeah.
he or she can
But
order
the
one
most important
themselves.
thing is, fuck the bus. I'm on the Celtic. It's all about Celtic. And right now, we live, Terry, in the best of times ever. And do you know what? See, after today, when then you know, as well as I do, Terry, that the treble is on, I've got 3 words, and they might all sound similar. And they come from the man called Martin O'Neill. Sensational, sensational, sensational.
I mean, you've all that stuff at the start. You know, they won't be playing Tina Turner on the coach on the way home, will they?
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now. And you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan. He's a Rangers puppet. He's a cheerleader. That's what he is.